What is up, guys? My name is Lex. Welcome back to the vlog. Another live stream game here at Texas Card House in Dallas. First, starting out here, there is a massive straddle on. The game is 5, 5, 10, 25 with a $50 straddle. Folds to me. I have ace queen in the cutoff. I make it $150 and only the straddler makes the call. The player in the $50 straddle is named Galoo. He is a regular on this Texas Card House live stream. I played a ton with him the last couple months, and I do know that he is not afraid to mix it up and put in some big bluffs. So when the flop comes out ace queen high, we flop top two pair on a very dry board. When he checks, I decide to check this one back. My thoughts at the time is that I completely smashed this board, so I want to give him some rope to potentially bluff on the turn if he senses weakness on the flop, which is exactly what happens. On the turn card a deuce, he decides to lead out for a pretty big sizing here, $250. I could put in a raise, but there's really not many bad river cards I'm looking to see. Maybe a 10 or a jack bringing in a straight, but I want to keep all of his bluffs in there, so I just make the call. We're going to the last card, which is a 10 of clubs. This is one of those cards we weren't really looking to see. It does bring in king jack for a straight, which is a hand that he could have bet with on the turn as a semi-bluff, and now he got there to beat us. However, this card could improve him to two pair like ace 10, queen 10, 10 deuce, 10 3. So if he bets here, I am most likely going to be raising for value. However, he thinks for a while and decides to check. With the action back over on me, I want to play a little game here. I want to see what you guys would do on the river. If you played the hand like me, would you A, bet $300? Would you B, bet $600? Or would you C, bet 2x to pot, $1,600. I want to hear down in the comments below, what sizing would you use on the river here? Pause the video and put your answer in the comments below. I decided to go with a $600 bet here. I'm really just trying to get called by a queen x hand or potentially a 10x hand like jack 10 or king 10. By checking back on the flop, I'm hoping that Galoo will think that I'm bluffing here because I would most likely bet my strong hands on the flop. He goes into the tank for a while and it looks like our check back gets us paid. He puts in the chips, we show the top two pair, and it is good to take down our first pot here playing at Texas Card House on the live stream. It is always nice when the cameras are on and people are watching to run good, flopping top two pair and getting paid off. However, the next couple hands don't go so well. We are playing 5, 5, 10, $25 straddle in this next hand. This game is huge. There's a limp for $25 in the hijack, and I look down at the birds, the pocket aces. I raise here to $125, get 3 callers, so we're 4 ways to the flop here with pocket aces. We see a board of 4, 7, 8, 2 hearts. This is actually a terrible board, multi-way with pocket aces without a heart. A lot of people like to call with middling connecting cards and smaller pocket pairs, so I can be losing now to pocket 4s, pocket 7s, pocket 8s, 5, 6 for a straight, 4, 7 for 2 pair, 7, 8 for 2 pair. All sorts of hands now beat me. However, when the action checks to me, I'm going to be betting here, and if I get raised, I can put my opponents on a better hand and I can make the fold. But I'm not just going to check back multi-way with my hand. I bet $350. Looking back, I think this bet is fine. I also think a check back is fine as well. I don't really want to be bloating the pot multi-way with a one pair hand that really cannot improve against multiple players who love to call. There's so many cards on the turn and the river that can change the board, and I'm not really going to know where I'm at. Under the gun calls and hijack makes the call, so we're 3 ways to the turn. 8 of hearts, possibly one of the worst cards in the deck. It brings in the flush and now pairs the top card, and now the hijack player who limp called pre-flop and just called on the flop leads out for a very small sizing of $300. A pretty interesting spot here, facing such a small bet here by the hijack player. I have the under the gun player behind me, so I don't think a raise is good. My hand is way too strong to fold versus this sizing. This is very player dependent. I think against some players I could find a fold here, but against this guy, I really don't have any reads on him. I did see him bluff maybe about an hour earlier with king high, so he's definitely capable of putting in some bluffs and making some plays. I make the call and the under the gun player makes the call as well, so I just have no idea if my pocket aces are good. Does someone have a flush, trips, a full house? Is somebody slow playing here? With $2,500 in the middle, we see the 9 of diamonds on the river. The under the gun player checks. Hijack player now leads out small again, $500 into a $3,000 pot now. A very annoying spot here. I don't think he's bluffing very often. He could be value betting a worse hand like a 7 or a 9 here. Given this price, I have to call $500 to win a $3,500 pot, so I don't have to be right very often to make this profitable. So I just stick in the call. I'm tired of folding on live streams, and unfortunately, he shows us the bad news. 8-10 of spades for trips, and aces are cracked. Once again, we make the wrong decision on a live stream game. There's a $20 straddle now under the gun. Under the gun +1, the same player who got us last hand limps. I have ace queen. I bump it up here to $120. I get a call from the hijack player, a call from the big blind. We go 3 ways to an ace high board, flopping top pair, queen kicker. I feel pretty confident about my hand. I decide to bet $150, and looking back, I think I should be going bigger here, more like $200 or $250, but I make it $150. Hijack is not scared, and the big blind doesn't stray away. He makes the call as well, so we're 3 ways to the turn.
Lexo in the lead. Can he retain it?
That's a dodge quite a bit here.
Oh my god.
Poor Lex. Cannot.
Can we get some Fs in the chat for Lex here? We need
Jeez.
some Fs.
Oh my god.
Send the Fs.
Oh my gosh.
This turn 6 of diamonds doesn't seem too bad for me. The straight draws miss, and to be honest, it's pretty hard to turn trips. So when Phil leads out here, I want to put in a raise. I feel like he's going to have worse aces, maybe an 8 or possibly pocket 9s. However, with a player behind me that is pretty loose who called on the flop, I just decide to match Phil's bet, and I guess it's good we did, because the hijack player puts in a raise, but a very, very small raise. $550 min raise here seems pretty strong. A couple plays that I've seen in Texas so far is a strategy where a player will min raise on the turn with a top pair holding so that they can basically freeze the action and they can check back on the river. I've seen this multiple times on live streams and at the 2-5 table, so I feel like it's possible here that Chris could have a hand like ace-jack, ace-10, or ace-queen that he's trying to raise to see where he's at, and so that he can check back the river and not face a big bet. So I make the call for only $275 more. I gotta see what happens on the river.
So you're telling me you have a 6, but I can't fold yet.
Yeah, that 5 is not it.
If you got to deep in salmon, you didn't have the stairway to heaven.
We'll get to your super chat in just a few moments.
You shouldn't even go.
And he goes check,
Oh,
check.
Lex
Wow.
slams his cards into the mug. Hard to blame him. He's been running like a pile of crap.
Quite tilting spots here to have the best hand on the flop, and then my opponents get there on the turn. They make small bet sizes, which gets them paid off. I feel like if they bet bigger, I could have hero folded, but against those prices, I just have to make the call. We're now down a little over $1,500. Next up here, under the gun makes it $75. Galoo makes the call. I have King 10 offsuit on the button versus an under the gun raising range. King 10 doesn't play too well. It can be dominated by a lot of his hands that he's raising pre-flop. However, this is a Texas live stream. I'm trying to get in there in position and play some pots with these guys, so I make a speculative call and we get rewarded when we see a king high flop.
So we have 3 colors behind. King Jack 4 to diamonds. So top pair for Lex, but unfortunately, how about bottom set for Galoo?
Man. Lexo just cannot catch a break.
Dave continues for $200 and Galoo very quickly makes the call. With top pair here and 10 kicker, I feel like our only choice is to make the call, which is what I do, and we go 3 ways to the turn, which is the 3 of hearts. Dave continues again for a small sizing of only $200, and I'm thinking to myself, if Galoo makes the call for $200, I'm going to be putting in a raise. However, Galoo is sitting there with a set of 4s, and he decides to put in a raise of his own. So like I said before, Galoo is definitely capable of putting in some bluffs. However, Dave bet into 3 people on the flop and now is betting again on the turn. With me behind him, I feel like Galoo is just going to have a super strong hand here a lot of the time, like King 3, King 4, a set of 4s, King Jack. He is definitely known to slow play sometimes on the flop, trying to raise on the turn. So unfortunately, I feel like I just got to let this one go.
For, or what river cards are you looking for, really, right? Another king?
Oh, nice fold, Lex.
Unfortunately, we end up losing about $2,300 on this live stream. We take Thursday off, but we are back on a Friday night at Texas Card House playing some 2-5 no limit. The first hour of this session starts off pretty slow. We pick up ace-10 of hearts, I raise, get a couple callers, and see a 9-7-6 board, end up losing $25 there. I have pocket 6s, I flop a gut shot on a 7-8-4 board, I check call on the turn and check fold on the river. I pick up ace-queen, raise to $25, get 5 callers, end up missing and losing that hand. Finally, after a boring first hour and a half of play, we get into an interesting spot here with Jack 10 of clubs. There's a raise to $25. I'm in the cutoff. I feel like I could be 3-betting here sometimes, but versus this particular player, I make the call and the big blind makes the call as well. 3 ways to an ace-high board. We completely miss, so when it checks to me, I check this one back. The turn is the deuce of clubs, now bringing in a jack-high flush draw for me. The big blind leads out. I think I can just call here and try to realize my equity on the river, which I do. It's a 7 of clubs. We make the jack-high flush. The big blind continues to bet for $140. He has about $2,000 in a stack. I think it is possible that he could be bluffing here sometimes, or he could have a pretty strong hand, like 2 pair, a set, or maybe even 4-5 for a straight. So I could just call here with a jack-high flush, knowing that I'm losing to an ace-high, king-high, or queen-high flush, but I think I can go for some value to try to get called by those worse hands like 2 pairs, sets, and straights, so I bump it up here. I make it $425. It seems that the big blind either just had a weaker ace or nothing at all, because he pretty quickly folds and we take down our first pot here on a Friday night. The table so far has been playing pretty passive, not many people getting too out of line. I have ace 4 of hearts raised to $20 under the gun. I get 3-bet by the hijack player to $60, so I feel like he's going to have a pretty strong hand. There hasn't been too much 3-betting on this table. The button ends up making the cold call for $60, and with a suited ace, very deep with the hijack player, I make the call as well. We are at a position here, 3 ways in a 3-bet pot versus 1 or even 2 players who potentially could have a big overpair, and we see a magical flop of deuce, 3, 5, 2 clubs. We flop a straight. I check and I have to look back at the board. Did I really just flop a straight in a 3-bet pot? Yes, I did. And the initial raiser continues here for $60. The button with about $400 left makes the call, and I feel like this is a great spot to be putting in a raise. I want to be building the pot with my best hands, and a straight is pretty damn good, so I make it $220. The initial 3-better and the hijack position makes a pretty quick call for $220, which is great news for us. I'm almost positive now he has those big overpairs like aces, kings, queens. He could have a massive flush draw like ace king of clubs or ace queen of clubs. When the button eventually folds his hand, we are looking for a non-club turn so that we can keep piling in money. And we get it. It's the 5 of hearts on the turn, giving us a straight flush draw now. The board does pair, which means our hand is downgraded a little bit. However, this player 3-bet me pre-flop. I don't think he's ever 3-betting with pocket deuces, 3s, or 5-3 suited. So we basically still have the effective nuts here. Obviously, this 5 could be a scare card for him, but if he has those big overpairs, I feel like he's not going to fold to a big bet. If he has ace king of clubs or ace queen of clubs, I feel like he's going to have to see the river. So I size up here. I make it $600. The action is now over on the hijack player who 3-bet me pre-flop and called my raise on the flop, and he does something I hate to see. He shows pocket queens and folds, which is just terrible for us. We flopped a straight versus an overpair, and he gets away on the turn. Looking back versus this particular player, I think I should be going a lot smaller on the turn, like 300 or 350, but we get greedy. We go for almost a pot-sized bet, and he makes the hero fold. Pretty annoying. I think I should be winning a bigger pot there, but didn't play at my best. However, flopping a straight versus pocket queens, can't complain too much. Moving on, there's a player with $400 in a stack who makes it $20. Another player calls. I have 10-8 diamonds. I should probably just fold this speculative hand pre-flop, given the fact that my opponent who raised doesn't even have 100 big blinds, but I want to play some hands for the vlog, so I get in there with a call. We go 4 ways to a 9-high board, flopping a flush draw. Initial raiser bets $40. There's a call for $40. I could possibly be putting in a semi-bluff raise here, but given the fact that I'm not even drawing towards the nut flush, I just make the call, looking to hit a diamond on the turn. We go 3 ways, and we get what we wanted. It's the 7 of diamonds, giving us a flush. The action quickly goes check, check to me, and both of my opponents have about $400 left in their stack, and for some reason, I decide to slow play and check this back, and we immediately get punished when a 4th diamond comes on the river, also pairing the board. Initial raiser now leads out for a shaky $75 bet. This player came in and bought in for $500, which is very short stack buy-in for these Texas 2-5 games, which makes me think he doesn't play poker that often and is probably not used to playing this big. So when he bets out on this river card, I feel like he's almost always going to have a flush that beats mine.
I played this one terrible.
I know you have like a kings or queens. Man, that was bad. I should have bet the turn.
I got 1 diamond.
Yeah, I know. I have 2.
You got 2?
Yeah.
Shit.
Oh, nice.
You got pocket 5, did you?
I make the hero fold with a 10 high flush, assuming that this player is not capable of bluffing into multiple opponents and is definitely not value betting a worse hand, and he completely owns us when he shows pocket 5s with the 5 of diamonds, and we make another bad fold, bad play. Poker is just a crazy game that even after all these hours and all these years that I played, I still just make some really weird, stupid decisions which have me kicking myself after, but I guess that's why people like to play poker, because there's always a way to get better. You can always try to improve your game, but I don't really know what I was doing in that hand. I guess I just deserve to get bluffed there. Moving into the last hand of the night, I make it $25 with Jack 10 offsuit from middle position. A pretty light open here, but nobody's really 3-betting me light, so I feel like I can get away with opening up a wider range. I get a call from next to act, and the big blind makes the call. We see a Jack 9-6 board, flopping top pair. I bet $50. Next player calls, big blind calls, and we turn trips with the Jack of diamonds. Big blind checks, and I want to learn from my mistakes. When I have a strong hand, I don't want to bet too big on a passive table and let my opponents fold worse hands. So instead of betting big like a pot size bet, I decide to just go $90 here. Next to act folds, but the big blind comes along with a call. 7 of diamonds on the river. The front door flush does miss, and the big blind checks over to me. The big blind has been playing very tight and passive, so it's definitely not out of the question that he could just be check calling with a better jack here, like queen jack or king jack, but no way I'm checking back this river. I bet $200 knowing that if he check raises me, he's always going to have a straight or a full house or a better jack than me, and I can easily fold, but it doesn't come to that. He pretty quickly puts in the call. We show the Jack 10, and it is good. This ends up being our last significant pot of the night. We end up racking up our chips, heading to the cage, and cashing out. Alright guys, that is it for this one. A 2-day, 2-part poker vlog for you guys. Started off here Wednesday night playing a 5-5-10 live stream. The game was great, tons of action, so much money on the table, but as always here in Texas, I just run bad when the cameras are on and when the live stream is going. I lost with aces, got unlucky with ace queen, king 10 versus a set of 4s, ended up losing like $2,300, which is just super frustrating because the games are always amazing. There's so much money on the table just flying around, and if I ran good just one time, I could win so much money. But so far since I've been here in Texas, I've just been losing, running bad, making the wrong decisions, the wrong plays on live streams, and it's just so damn frustrating. Hopefully one day we can run good on one of these live streams, but came back here on a Friday night, kind of a boring-ish session at first, but then things heated up. Flopped a straight with ace 4, won a couple other small pots. I think I played like C- poker tonight, ended up winning like $700, so that is just how the poker swings work. You win some days, you lose some days, you win some days, you lose some days. It's all about the long term in poker. You can't really look about the day-to-day or week results or even the month results. It's about that year, 5-year, 10-year goal of trying to get that graph to continue to go up. You're gonna have downswings, you're gonna have upswings, but hopefully the graph just continues to go up and up and up. But hope you guys enjoy this one. We are coming to a close for our time here in Dallas, Texas. I'm a little sad. I don't want to leave this place. It's awesome. I love Texas Card House. They're amazing. But we are heading back to Florida next week. So this vlog and then one more Texas Card House vlog, and then we are back in Florida grinding those streets up. But if you guys enjoyed this one, hit that like button. If you have any comments, comment down below and subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Until next time, I'll see you.